Just the other day driving, had picked somebody up who was going for the first time to their new residence. And as we drove along, he said out loud, "I'm going to my home." And then he paused and said, "That sounds so good. My home." I can't remember the last time that I could say that and think about going to my home.
I used to live on the south side. I used to live out in the street. I lived out in the street for a long time. I lived right beside this millionaire's house. Some lady, you know, that was my life. My parents aren't living no more. My father was murdered in 1970, and my mom died of cancer in 1973. And but I was raised by my grandparents. I lived with my grandparents most of my life, and they passed away quite a few years ago too. Came to a point where I didn't care about how I was living. I didn't care. I didn't care what people thought of me. I didn't care if I was living out in the street or eating out of a garbage bin, or, you know, or picking bottles for my next drink, or panhandling, you know. I didn't care about what people thought of me, you know, because alcohol made me like that. I was spending most of my money on drugs and alcohol and just things, you know, eat once in a while. Man, I was terrible looking. I mean, when I first sobered up, I was terrible. I was really terrible looking. I really wanted to move and just kind of move forward in my life. I didn't want to be stuck in that rut. All I was doing was just existing from one day to the other, and that's how my whole life was, just existing. And I got tired of that, being just someone that was existing from day to day, so I decided, you know, I better do something about this. So I finally just did it, you know. I just finally just did it. So once I put that alcohol away, it was totally different for me. Totally different. I mean, things started to change inside of me because I asked for help. That's the first thing I did when I quit drinking, was and using drugs, was I asked for help. And you wouldn't believe that people actually took their hand out and actually wanted to help me. They didn't want anything from me. All they wanted was to help me. And so they helped me out. And I'm glad I got that help. I can cook for myself now. I mean, I know how to cook, but I just like to, it feels better to cook for me, for my own, instead of other people cooking for me, because I wanted to become totally independent on that, you know, independent on myself, to find ways to feed myself. I don't have a great life, but I have a roof over my head, and I have food to eat, and I'm getting a cat. And, I mean, these people are, you know, they're pulling for me, you know, because I'm trying.
I think because the Boyle Street Co-op works in a relationship-based harm reduction philosophy, we allow people to be housed first. Having somewhere that is safe and secure is one of the most important things to start with. Either that's right at the beginning, to learn how to do that with a person, and how to do that with their own place. So that's one of the things that I always ask people when I work with them is, do you have somewhere you can go that you call home, that you feel safe at the end of the day?
I was living in a tent, 3 months pregnant, and using drugs. not really caring about life. They saw me when I was like using and stuff, and they just helped me. They told me that like this baby's worth it. Like it's better to keep your baby. And I got sick of kind of living the life I was, because I grew up in care myself. I've been in the system, I've done all of it, and I just didn't want my baby to go through it. Every time I come here, I feel a bit stronger because I can remember where I was and where I am now. So it feels awesome. Just waking up every day knowing that I'm a good mom.
Yeah, my name's Terry. I live in this house. It was put together through the Boyle Street Co-op.
This is our place.
I have 2 other roommates, well 3 actually now, and we all seem to get along fine, and it's just been a good place to live compared to what I had before, which was nothing.
You do, yes. I do mine too. Yeah, I'm just trying to get...
My name is Chilozie Obi, and actually how I came to know about Boyle Street Community Services was I heard it from a friend of mine. John and I have been here for like 5-6 months now. Terry himself has been here for like 4 months. Everybody's putting in their own part, just just to keep the place going and keep everything like in check and helping each other out.
That's pretty good.
Good food. You know, if you want to take a shower, it's available. The things that are on the street, there are things to, or areas to go where you can take a shower and stuff like that, but they're very hard to get into. They're usually very crowded. Just having a mailing address is a good thing as well. But just all the little amenities in life that I used to take for granted, like just being able to watch the news on TV and things like that, you know, when you don't have a place, you can't really do that. Other than that, like I say, it's just the comforts of home.
I needed a push and the right people to that really understand what my needs were. I can afford the rent and everything. They understand me coming from the streets and how they work with street people and how tough it is for street people. Like sometimes, you know, to find and keep housing is something. And one thing is too, if you move somebody into a right place, like a place where they feel like a sense of belonging is something, because that's the best way they will kind of get to work other issues out. And Boyle Street understands that, so that's the way they kind of help me out, give me the right push and the right support.
If we're going to make the change, we have to come together as a community with the sincere desire to change the problem. The problem is so complex that it's going to require all of us to look at the issues and really challenge some big issues. You know, and the issues are immense. They range from the availability of mental health support, to the issues of our Aboriginal people, to the issues of employability, to the issues of affordable housing. Everybody should have the basics: a safe, warm place to sleep, the basic needs of food and shelter are what everybody deserves. And I think that's what this is all about, is coming together as a society and saying that all people should have their needs met in those ways.